China braces for new COVID wave with up to 65 million weekly cases.
Here's a summary of the article.
XBB is expected to result in 40 million infections per week by the end of May before peaking at 65 million a month later. China is facing a new wave of COVID-19 infections that could see as many as 65 million cases per week by the end of June. Zhong's estimate provides a rare glimpse into the potential impact of the latest Omicron variant, XBB, which has been fueling a resurgence in cases across China since late April. According to a Bloomberg report, XBB is expected to result in 40 million infections per week by the end of May before peaking at 65 million a month later. In the wake of this pivot to living with the virus, the Chinese Center for Disease Control and Prevention stopped updating its weekly statistics earlier this month, leaving many questions about the true impact of COVID-19 in China. Zhong's estimate suggests that this latest wave of infections will be more muted compared to the previous wave that hit China late last year and into January. At that time, a different Omicron sublineage likely infected 37 million people every day, overwhelming hospitals and crematoriums and causing residents to scramble for limited supplies of fever medicine.
This post received a score of 9,800, with an upvote ratio of 93%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
China heard the WHO declared the pandemic over and decided to bring it back single-handedly. Getting tired of all these reboots.
It's endemic now, so the reboots are here to stay.
It is a part of life now. Me personally, because of how I work, in a vast refrigerator, freezer, wearing a mask and distanced from coworkers is a normal thing, and I was easily able to transition those things into normal life. Some folks, they themselves don't like those things. Each person is different, and each has their own way into dealing with COVID, in the past and going forward. For me, those are now part of my regular routine now, in both work life and normal life.
Some of us just put on the masks, and even though it felt odd at first, but we got used to it pretty damn fast if we were protecting our parents, or someone immune compromised like my wife, a cancer survivor.
Honestly, I really liked the masks. I'm going to start wearing one if I get a cold or something. I think it should be a thing when you have something that's contagious like the flu or something.
That should be the norm, but people wanna make masks a culture war thing. Good on you for being responsible.
What's interesting to me is Asian countries did this way before the pandemic. If you were not feeling well, you wore a mask if you went out in public.
Yeah, it's great. People also wear them due to pollution worries as well. Japan, for example, has times of year when a lot of sand blows from China, which gets mixed with pollution from industry. So mask wearing is quite common.
You're fucking kidding me.
The Chinese COVID vaccine is maybe 40–50% as effective as a mRNA vaccine, so they never really got over it. Combine it with poor hygiene, condensed living and working conditions, and Chinese pseudo-medicine which push nonsense cures, and presto, the never-ending Chinese COVID crisis. The real story in China is that they had very low contraction rates for a very long time, which means no immunities. And then, as you say, the efficacy of their vaccine is lower than mRNA. But more importantly, it falls off in efficacy much faster than Western vaccines, and while vaccine coverage is quite high compared to some Western standards, it's markedly low among the elderly, especially boosters. And this means that when it rips through, there's a large vulnerable population waiting to contract it.
As a result of zero COVID, China is now experiencing COVID waves with a delay compared to the rest of the world. The wave they are experiencing now is the one that hit us at the beginning of the year. The wave they were experiencing at the beginning of the year was the one we were experiencing half a year earlier. The reason is that newly emerging variants are taking their strength not from spreading faster than previous variants in a naive population, but from being immune evasive towards immunity from the previous infection wave.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.